Yeah, he's an
I
old guy, but he doesn't know he's an
oh
old guy. He's like
oh
13. He's
oh
still
my
running around,
gosh.
jumping up and down on stuff. And I'm like, bruh, can you not do that? How are you going to get down? You're 60 pounds. I can't lift you.
Our dog is 7, and she's starting to slow down a little bit because
Yeah.
she's also a big dog,
Uh huh.
and I'm like, no, she's my baby. She
Yeah.
can't be old.
I
No.
know, exactly. But this one, he doesn't know that he's an old guy. So, I
Oh
mean, I guess
well,
it's kind of cool, but
that
kind of
well, it's
not.
yeah, it's the
And
yin and
he
yang, the
gets
push and pull.
Yeah, he gets in a lot of trouble. He stands up on tall things and then can't get down because of his
Oh
joints. And I'm like, how did you even get there in the first
oh
place? How did you do that?
oh puppy. Okay, we're not gonna here just to talk about
Yeah.
dogs. We're gonna talk about My Monsters Ain't Like Yours, which will be coming out in 1 week's time when this episode drops. So everyone listening, this is your last chance to get a pre-order in. You listen to this, go pre-order My Monsters Ain't Like Yours, featuring, I'm going to say this, featuring the Stoker Award-winning story from RJ Joseph. This is not one of the questions I prepared, but what's it like winning a Stoker, RJ? You got to tell me.
Oh my gosh, it's still so surreal. Like it's almost a week after, and I'm still kind of just walking by it, kind of rubbing it, going, "Oh my gosh, you're really here! I did it! I did it! You came home with me."
It's absolutely crazy. I'm so happy. I'm so well deserved.
Thank you so
I
much.
mean, it's such a hard competition. Like
It is,
in every category, it's just
yes.
everything is so great, and you're like, well, you can't. I'm like, I never complain. I'm like, well, everything deserves it, really. Like, can we
Right,
just give awards to
exactly.
everything? Yeah,
Sure, sure. Everybody
yeah.
is very well deserving that makes that list. So it's pretty tough, but I like that. I like that because
I
we
mean,
are
you get
showing
to
out.
and you have that forever now. You're always going to be Stoker
Yeah,
Award winning RJ Joseph.
always. Yes,
Always,
always.
always. Um, I have a lot of questions for you about well, actually, here. I always sometimes forget to do this. Can you give our listeners like a quick pitch for the collection?
Sure. We are pitching this as Black feminist horror at its rawest. And this is probably because I don't pull any punches in the writing. That has not always been intentional. This is just how the stories come out. And so the pitch is, I mean, if you like your horror raw, this is going to be one that you'll want to pick up.
Yeah. I 1000% agree with that, and that is, it's some of my questions are I pointed toward that a little bit.
Huh?
Let's start with that, I guess, because there are some stories in here with really rough violence, really rough abuse, uh, explicit gore, graphic violence, all that stuff, and really effective. I think my some of my favorite stories are those. But what tells you when a story needs that more graphic description of things? When how do you know when you're working on something, oh, I need to dial this up. I need to really lay it in this story versus maybe when you don't need to in other stories.
It usually happens in revisions. If I notice that the story is not landing very well or that it's not teaching what I set out to teach or show, there are some things that we can close the door on that we don't have to do that with, and the story still stands pretty well. But there are other times when I think, I don't know, I don't think that this lesson or this message is as clear as I want it to be, and it's because I'm trying sometimes to dial it back, right? I'm thinking about and I'm self-editing. And that's when I have to just let it go, let the story be what it wants to be. And when I can do that, usually we can get to the right level of violence in there.
Is that you is that self-driven by you rereading stories and revisions, or is this driven by like beta readers or editors and things like that?
It's usually me.
Okay.
It's usually me, yeah, before I even send the story out, I want it to be, the best story it can be, and sometimes the best story it can be is the goriest story, is the nastiest story, and then other times the best story it can be is the most subtle story, the more quiet story. So yeah, I don't like to send stuff out if I'm not already happy with it in the first place. My anxiety would never allow me to do that.
Same. Uh, although I'm definitely not as sensitive about feedback as I once was.
Yeah.
Now that just comes with time. You
Oh,
get
yeah, sure.
you, you get you get scar tissue built on top.
That's a great example, but that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, where you're like, oh well, I've had people say really bad things about my stories, and at this point,
Oh, oh yeah, that's
oh
terrible. I hate when
no,
people
I
do that
mean,
though. It's unnecessary.
it doesn't hurt me anymore. Like
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you come to understand that it's so subjective,
sure,
and
sure.
and sometimes it's people you're like, I don't really care what you think
Right.
because I have a gay character in the story and they hate it just because of that, and you're like, oh well,
Well,
who
yeah,
cares?
we can
Who
just throw that
cares?
away. Yeah.
Exactly. That goes in the trash can. That's precisely right. And I mean, I think it's a thing I think about sometimes with the violence, the graphic. How graphic
Mhm.
do I want it to be? Is it strictly I want to hammer home a theme,
Yeah,
hammer home a message, use the violence as the punch, so to speak.
exactly.
Okay. I mean, you caught me off guard with a couple of these stories because and especially be in a good way, but it was like, oh my god, like it really it. I mean, but I every time I go, that is what the story needed.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
never
yeah.
is there ever concern about like I don't want it to be excessive. I don't want it to be I don't know exploitative in just violence for violence sake.
Yeah, well, I think I've given up. The things that I think are way overboard are kind of not always what other people think are way overboard. So I just don't worry about that anymore.
Okay.
Like I really, I can't because if I did, I'd be second guessing every single thing. And I sometimes I'll read a story of mine out loud, and everybody's grasping their pearls and breathing hard, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh no, I didn't know that was going to happen, but okay."
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that's the thing that a lot of authors who, especially who have the most esteemed authors who visit on the podcast, they're always like, I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I write the thing from in here. I don't worry about the other people. That's not a
Exactly.
concern.
Exactly.
Um, this question came up to me as I'm working through my reading. I'm always taking little notes and like, what do I ask about? And I don't know if this happens to you, but as I have now know authors, not just I'm reading them sight unseen, I
Mhm.
can sometimes hear their voice as I'm reading.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
And I heard you. I heard you like reading these stories to me from time to time.
Oh, very
Um,
nice.
I mean, yes, and you have a good reputation of being a great speaker, a great reader of your own stories, and
Oh, thank you.
I think
It
that
helps a little.
well, yeah, it does, and these stories have so many different kinds of perspective, different kinds of characters being perspective characters, and therefore a lot of different character voices
Mhm.
where you have to dial up uh, different diction, different perspective, and different even age range. Like that
Yep.
changes how people think and talk. So this is a slightly complicated question, but you're perfect to answer it. How do you control a character's voice, and how much of do you let you come through, like your own natural, like resting voice? Does that inflect at all? Is that revisions as well, or is it just no? This character is a child, so they're going to speak simpler. Is it this character is hardened, so they're gonna speak with like a shorter cadence, things like that. Is how does that? That's a big question, but
Yeah.
how do you think about that?
Yeah, so I try not to because
Okay,
the characters will tell me who they are. And so I try all the time to be true to them, first of all, and to their story. And so if it's a kid, I mean, thankfully I've spent time around kids. I have kids. I mean, grandkids. I do like to eavesdrop a lot. And so it's not like I don't know how, let's say an 80-year-old woman would speak, even though I've never been an 80-year-old woman. I've observed, and so I do let the characters let me know, like whoever they are, they need to be true to that, unless their change is a part of the story. Now, if they change, then it needs to serve the story. But other than that, I could not try to do what I want to do. They make me do what they want me to do.
I mean, but I like I would even like the. Do you think about at all about when in narration, even in the cadence and tone of the prose outside of dialogue and their thoughts? Do you think about how much of the character's voice influence that, if at all?
Well, I do like to play around with language, and so I do like to play around with lyricism. I like to play around with, the metaphors of different literary devices, and I think that most of my favorite ones do lend themselves to this sort of an oratory quality. Is just what kind of usually ends up happening.
I mean, but that's you though, right? That's
Yeah,
you
that's
coming.
me coming out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I mean, I think that's. I don't know. I don't know if everyone thinks about all these things as much as I do, but it is like I when I'm reading, maybe it's because I'm doing this podcast and I'm interviewing people all the time, where I'm like, it's really, I'm always looking at different authors and their voices are so different, and yet, and especially in collections when it's so evident when you're jumping between stories where circumstances between characters are entirely different, and you can really see that the example of it,
Mhm.
which is that's another reason people should go read this book.
Thank you. Well, I think that you also have a good ear, is what it sounds like. You have a
Oh,
good ear for listening.
I I I I want to be better. I want to be a better writer, and
Yeah, I
that's how
love
you do it.
Yes,
You study.
yes.
You find people who are smarter and better than you, and you go, why are they? What are the? How do they weigh things? How do they? And
Sure,
yeah,
sure,
exactly.
yeah.
And also, I don't know. There's it's the when I was a college student, and I was fed was like mostly white men from
Mhm, mhm.
150 years ago. Like
Right,
that's not going to make me a better writer now.
right.
No, we are in a different world, thankfully. But you have to. It is a thing that I tell people is you have to. You are fed. You can't control that a lot when you're in college. They feed you
Right.
stuff, and you just have to pass the class. You have to read what they give you. But now you're an adult. Go seek out, find different
Yes,
perspectives and voices because you're gonna. That's what will actually make you a better writer.
exactly. Go get some more stuff. Go get some more
Yeah.
learning.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you for a bunch of recs in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the show. I always do it,
Sure,
but
sure.
I love hearing people. Um, we already mentioned kind of themes. How you try and bring out themes in your work, and whenever I'm reading a collection, I'm always like, what are the things that a writer always revisits? Like, what are the motifs and the themes that they touch upon a lot? And there's a lot of, I mean, the Stoker winning story, Inheritance, literally is about a girl, young woman inheriting stuff from her family, which I won't spoil because people need to read the story. But there's lots of families and lots of
Mhm.
family trauma. And then it's not, and sometimes it's not trauma. Sometimes it's like the good things you inherit from your
Mhm.
family as well. Or sometimes things that might be good at first and then not so good later on.
Right.
Um, and I think this is a little bit broader question than necessarily any kind of nuts and bolts in any single story. But as you're writing all these separate stories and as you're collecting them, are you are you recognizing, oh, I write a lot. I write a lot about families. I write a lot about these, inheritance, literally and figuratively. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about, oh, is this just who I am as a writer? This is what I like to write about?
Oh, absolutely. Excuse me. Yeah, I love to write about families because I think that they give us everything we possibly need. Like any emotion that you want to explore, you can find it in family dynamics. Any kind of conflict that you want to talk about, you can find it in family dynamics. Um, and family is really important to me. So it could seem like I'm kind of beaten over the head. No, no families, no families. But it's actually the opposite. Is that family
Yeah,
is so
exactly.
important. It's so important to me that I do notice that that's one thing that I write about, and then
Yeah, yeah,
multi
yeah.
generational writing, because that's just those are just things that are important to me, and so they do come out because I think there's a lot that we could do within our own families, and this is in biological and chosen to improve those relationships, right? Like there's so much we could do to just be better to each other and to make better connections with each other and in order to build those foundations because this is, I mean, at the end of the day, what do you have left? You have yourself and you have family. So
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't, I hope people don't get the impression like, because you write about toxic family dynamics at times and abusive family situations, it's because you're trying to show the opposite. It's
right.
yeah. I feel like, I don't know. The people whoever say that kind of stuff, I don't think they're actually reading horror. They're trying to critique it without actually understanding it. Um, this is a thing I noticed, and maybe it's just because I was on a cosmic horror panel and they were talking a lot about awe and wonder. And I've
Hmm.
noticed and in this collection, there is a fair share of characters feeling wonder at things and feeling awe at things, aside from or even a part of the terror. Do you think about that aspect? It's on top of mine, so it's all I've been thinking about. So maybe that's why I see it so much. But is that something you think about as you're writing, the wonder and awe of seeing something supernatural or something big in your writing? Is that, I don't know. Am I crazy for noticing that?
No, no,
Okay.
you're not. You're
Okay.
absolutely not. Like I'm one of the things that people who are close to me do notice is that I do have that kind of outlook on life. Like we are looking at something and I'm the one that's turned around looking in the corner, or I'm the one that's thinking, oh my gosh, what kind of bird is that? Or I'm the one, we're in the middle of a cemetery and I'm going, okay, but look at the woods. Look at how the leaves are blowing in that one tree. And I mean, so I think that that's a part of, I think that's important that we can look at the world and still be in awe of things, and that we can look at things with a little bit of almost childlike wonderment, because when we leave all that behind, we get to be so dull and so stale. And like, what else is there left to look forward to if you're just not surprised by anything, or if nothing, piques your curiosity? I mean, like, what's the point to all that?
Amen. I don't. I can't. I don't think I can say it smarter than you can. I think it also in your writing it adds that degree of humanity
Sure.
to
Oh,
where
yeah.
to stories even when really horrific things are happening. You go, oh, but these are humans being affected by it.
Right.
Right. You see the humanity in it, even as someone might get being ripped apart or something horrible.
Exactly.
Something might be happening to them.
Exactly.
Right. But I mean, in I don't know. There is the also the element of of when something is big and scary, it is also like wondrous. It is also like
It
awesome
is. It is.
in the classical sense of awesome.
Right, right. We don't see this stuff every day. Like, I don't
No,
know that most of us see it at all. So, I mean, so like the thought is, come on, man, are you so jaded that that would not evoke any kind of response out of you? Like,
exactly.
seriously? And I think some people are, unfortunately, they are that jaded where they would kind of just go, oh, yeah, okay, whatever.
That's why I read this. That's why I read horror, because it is the most impactful, the most meaningful genre to me. It is the place that we can go the furthest and show the biggest things, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so this is I guess back to a more nuts and bolts question. Um, about tonal shifts. About, because it happens multiple times in separate stories where you drop us into what feels like a normal situation, probably there's conflict, but there's nothing supernatural, nothing scary, nothing horrific. And then suddenly shift, gut punch, and you're like, oh no, oh no. Um, is there, when you are writing a story, is that calculated? Are you going, I know that I want to lull the reader into like a sense of normalcy and then hit them real hard with this very specific tonal shift, with this big status quo change? Is that calculated, or do you sometimes stumble upon those?
No, I do stumble upon those. They are
Okay.
not always calculated.
Okay.
And that comes from my own reading and viewing as a student, just as a student of words. Like I'm always looking to see how people use them. And so sometimes those ways kind of creep in. And it's not until after I'm reading something over again that I go, oh, you did that. Oh, that's great. You learned how to do that. That's wonderful. Let's try to do it again. Let's practice some more.
I mean, I think that's all of us to a certain extent. Like
Yeah.
you
Oh,
don't know.
sure. I think
I
so.
mean, I mean that's why people describe it as magic sometimes, because you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it.
Right. Yeah.
I did.
And I know it comes from examples. Like I tell my students all the time, and like you already alluded to here, you cannot be a good writer if you're not a good reader. Like you have to be a good reader. People that say they don't read, I'm kind of going, yeah, I never want to read your writing because I don't think you know how. If you don't read, how do you know how the words go? So
I
it's a
am
learning
always
thing.
I
Yeah.
whenever people are like, "Oh, I only read books from the 60s or from the 1860s." I'm like those are, you can learn from them, right? There
Sure.
is, but
But
you have, but you're missing out on literally like hundreds
yeah, right.
those old people are, right?
Exactly.
And like you want to write a book for now, not a book for
Exactly.
1955 or whatever. Uh
Exactly.
see, I don't need to, I do this sometimes where I'm like, I'm just going to start ranting about people. It's crazy. Read books, guys. This is why I have this is part of the reason I have this podcast. Go read RJ's book. Read, RJ's going to give us a bunch of examples for more people you should read. You should go buy all those books, put them on your TBR. So that's what I'm going to do. That's it for the first segment, RJ. But people have a week to go pre-order the My Monsters Ain't Like Yours, and then it comes out, and you should. It features Stoker Award winning. I'm gonna say it again, Stoker Award winning story in there, but all the stories are really great. Huge variety too. Big, like that's what I always I've talked about it before in the show. Like I love collections that show this big range of stuff and like
Mhm.
different types of stories. That's like that's the beauty of a collection to me. I don't want to read the same story 100 times in a row. I want
Right.
big variety of stuff. And I Inheritance is obviously like, because it won an award, it's going to have get a lot of attention. But there's a lot of really top notch stories in this collection. We don't have the time to talk about every single one, but and I don't want to because people should experience them. But I have a link to that in the show notes, and we can move on to the second segment. It is time for the second act, where I will ask you broader bookish writing questions.
Okay.
Um, and we're gonna start off with those recommendations because I have a separate question from this, but I have a question from my last guest, and I'm gonna ask you for a question for the next guest
Okay.
at the end of this segment. So the question from my last guest, they knew it was you. They were like, "Can I? Will you tell me who it is?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's RJ." She just won the Stoker. I'm like, "Yeah, she did."
Yeah.
Exactly. See, I told you I was going to mention a bunch. Uh, so, and like I knew it. She knew where we were going to be talking about your collection. So, what is this? Might be a hard question. What is your number one short story of all time? Your favorite?
Oh man, that's like asking about your favorite kid.
I know it's real hard. I could. I mean, I'll say this here. It's your favorite right now off the top of your head.
Sure.
You don't have to bind yourself to this for the rest of your life.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah.
today in this
Yes.
moment, I would probably say, "Sad Spooky Sally."
Oh no. Well, okay. Well, that's good. Of yours, I would say of others. I'll
Oh, of
say.
others. Oh, so
Oh
of
yeah,
others.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Oh,
would.
that's a lot
Well,
easier.
okay. Well, I would say one, RJ.
Yeah,
I
that's so much
that
easier.
was my favorite of your
Was
stories.
it? Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's so nice. Yeah.
It's incredible story. So painful, so hard, but it's so good. Okay,
Okay.
I'll be clearer this time. Favorite story of others
Of
writing that you
others, okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Well, today, I think that I would say that it is, "Girl" by Jamaica Kincaid. I do use it in my comp classes, but, I think that just as a story, as a piece of written art, it is just very artistic. The way that, the whole story is told in just one sentence, there's all these semicolons and all these kinda sidebars, but how there's so much said in that one little tiny part. Like it's maybe a page, if that, but there's so much said. There's so much conveyed about that pace. It gives you this frantic kind of instruction in well, I mean, in domestic realities for women back in the 70s when it was written. And so I love Girl. I revisit it every single semester. That's how much I like it. I actually use it over and over again.
I mean, that's what I want. That's perfect. Again, a great. I mean, it's a great answer. Uh, I'll try and find. I'll find a link for it so people can also read it
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah, out there.
it's a really must read story
Yes.
for
Um.
technique and topic, yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Um. So here, my first question, which is a question I ask everyone, I'm asking you for more Rex. So, who's a writer more people should be reading? And this could be, you can give me a bunch of names if you want to. You don't have to limit it to one if you don't want to.
Yeah, okay, so people should be reading Kenya Moss Dime right now. Like Kenya's actually been writing for a really long time, but when I say knowing how to write a creepy kid, she totally knows how to write a creepy kid that just you want to love this kid, but you kind of go, "Oh no, not that kid." um, she did that in her book Progeny, and I've read some other stuff of hers where I'm going, "How do you make these people so creepy?" Just also, Ryan Bradley is someone that I think everybody needs to read. When we talk about horror and comedy and that perfect balance, I mean, this guy can tell a funny story where you're creeped out, but you're also laughing because you're like, okay, that was hilarious, but oh no.
Any others?
um,
You don't have to. You can call it
yeah, I'm
two if
sure.
you want
Yeah,
to.
I'm sure after the show, I'm gonna go. I could have
Of
said this.
course.
I could, yeah,
Of
we
course.
can stick with those two for now.
Okay. I'll have links to both of them, both of them for Progeny. I'll find and I'll put in the show notes. People can go. Kenya now has been recommended by two people on the podcast, so people
Oh
pay out.
yeah,
I went out the moment Tamika Thompson recommended her. I went and bought a book from her. People
yes,
out,
yes.
people out there listening, pay attention. Okay,
Yes, for
listen.
Ryan Bradley, you would love, Say Uncle
Say uncle.
is this
Okay,
novel that is just, oh man, all kinds of creepy shenanigans.
okay, that's great. I love shenanigans.
Yes.
Um, let's see. What? Oh, say this is a good question. How has your writing changed since you have started publishing, if at all?
I'm a lot bolder.
Okay.
A lot bolder, willing to lean into my own voice. When we first start out, we're not sure. And I know for me, I really had this identity crisis. Like I didn't even come out as a horror writer until I was like in my 40s, although I had actually published in horror. I had this identity crisis with, oh my gosh, do I belong here? What am I even saying? What am I even doing? And then I realized that if you just stop with all that, cut all of it out, and just do you, then you can actually find that growth. And that's the spot where I found myself actually flourishing, was in being in saying, hey, I can do this. This is the thing that I'm meant to do, and I will continue to get better. But it was that's the biggest way that I've changed. Like if you read anything from my very first tiny collection, Monstrous Domesticity. Those stories do not have quite the boldness or the confidence. Like, so when I look back at them, I go, oh, you did the best you could at that time. And
I,
now I'm like, it's a whole different thing. So,
I mean, I think it's we all do it where it's we look
yeah.
back at our early stuff and we're like, I don't know. There is a beauty in it because that's us at that point in our lives and our in a
Mhm.
writing journey. But it's also like
Yeah.
little naive. You're like, oh, why did I do
Ex
that?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, like, I was pulling too many punches, I was holding back way too much stuff, and I had so much more to give. So I'm really happy that I had the time and the chance to be able to do that and grow into myself as a writer.
I was gonna say, like, there's a thing I think about. I don't know, when people are like, "Oh, I didn't know I was a horror writer." I'm like, "You are, one
Yes,
thousand percent. You're a
right,
horror
right,
writer. There's no shame in it." Yeah, honestly, it's I don't know horror, especially now, hot.
right,
Everyone loves it.
right,
We're doing
right.
it's going great. I don't know. And I don't think that weirdly horror was always looked down upon historically, like very low. It's low art, right? It's for for the commoners. But
Sure.
I think now horror of all genre fiction, horror is closest to literary as anything else actually gets.
I think you're right, I think you're right, especially now that we've progressed to this, yeah,
Right.
I
And I
think
hope and I don't know. I feel like people are starting to realize that. I
right.
think that we can that it can be violent and crass at times,
Mhm.
but still be very meaningful
Yes.
and tell really important things. Um, what's it a good question? Good. Okay. Question again, and this is an old question I ask almost everyone. What's the best piece of advice you followed?
Oh man, the best piece of advice, I'm gonna paraphrase something that the great Joe Lansdale said. He basically said, "Write like everybody you know is dead." And and I'm paraphrasing that, but I saw that in an interview that he did, and I was like, "Well, leave it to Mr. Lansdale to just tell it like it is," because my mother is, she'll be 77 in a couple of months, and she has taken it upon herself to start reading my work,
Oh
and
no.
so right,
Okay.
right, and so I say to myself, "Oh gosh, just tell mama not to read this, not to read that one." But I realized that in a lot of times writing, because so much of what I see and what happens is in these stories, I'm starting to have to warn her and say, "Okay, mama, remember that time that we went to the zoo? Okay, that is in this story, but I know that that's not how it happened. But this is what this is what I wrote about." And so when Joe Lansdale said that, especially me being Southern, also there's always this worry that, oh, the family, I will be disowned, and
Right.
they're gonna be mad that I told these secrets. And I'm like, okay, but they're not real secrets. That's pretend. I made that up, you know?
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
that is the best advice. Just
I
pretend like everybody you know is dead.
I
So
love that.
I
That's
love it.
that's great. Does your might see my mom doesn't read my books. My
Mm.
dad does though. And
Oh.
he texts me after he finishes one and tells me what he tells me about it. It's generally he doesn't like tragic endings
Oh, oh
at
no, but
all.
he can't
I,
read horror then.
I know. Well, I have sometimes. I guess I would say I have happier
Oh,
endings,
okay,
right?
okay.
Like
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah.
But obviously, a lot of them have tragic endings, and I'm like, Dad, I'm a horror writer. That's what I
Yeah.
write. And a lot of times, it's not going to end well for people. They're going to
Right,
have a
right.
bad ending. And he's like, he's like, why'd you do that to me, Rob? Why'd you do that to
Oh,
me? I'm like, Dad, this is what
poor
the kind of book
dad,
you're. Yeah.
poor
Does your
dad.
mom like your stories?
She I think that it's some kind of a fascination. I'm not sure if she likes them. Okay, she likes the fact that I write them. She likes the way that I write them, because she was an English major, so she loves
Oh,
words,
okay.
and she's a
Excellent.
big reader. But I think the subject matter, like every now and again, she'll say to me, we're gonna have to talk about that little zombie story you wrote," and I'm like, "No, Mama, we're not gonna talk about it." She
My mother was also an English major, and
Oh,
also
yeah,
yeah,
how funny. Yeah,
she
well, she is not, she's not even a traditional horror reader. She's only started reading this here in the past few years, and I'm like, "Mama, that's something, like, you are literally this Southern Baptist church lady, and you've decided all of a sudden you're gonna read horror, not just horror, but this horror."
I was gonna
Um,
say
yeah,
I don't know. There's you gotta start with some cozy horror, and then and work your way into the
yes,
deeper end. I think is that what I usually
yes.
suggest.
Oh my
But
gosh, yes, I'm always trying to kind of usher her over to like she really likes like those 100-word horror stories. And
okay,
so I'm
yeah.
always trying to find a new one of those for her and I'm like, "Oh wait, look at this. Yeah, I have a
Well,
book coming out, but look at this book. You can read this one."
I don't my yeah, it's I don't know. My obviously my parents are instrumental in me being who I am, but I
Right.
don't my mother is not I don't my mom's like, I can't handle that. I'm like, good mom, you should not be reading these things. Please, yeah, it's you're good. You're too kind. Too
Yeah.
too too nice of a lady.
Yes.
Yes. What is a practice that helps keep your writing momentum going?
Just doing it.
Okay.
You
Sit
I mean,
down. Sit down,
sometimes
right?
you gotta do it. You gotta put your butt in the chair and hands on the keyboard. I think somebody's a big cock, butt in chair, hands on keyboard.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
because things get so busy and it can be really easy to just lose track. But there's a lot of times, like in class, when my students are working on an assignment, especially when my computer is the one that's using the overhead, right? Like I'm like, oh, well, I have about 30 minutes while they're doing this. I can do an exercise too, and it only not only helps model with them what this writing process looks like, but also it kind of keeps me with my toe in. It keeps me going, keeps me flowing because I need that. I really need that. Not so much routine, but I need the appearance of a routine at least.
I always uh, tell people, baby writers, start a practice.
Yeah.
Right. It's not, and like routine is, I don't think isn't the right word. Sometimes it's
Right.
more like being in the practice of writing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It is. You're
Yeah.
right.
When you have that, it's something I could get better at. Oh, I have
Right.
an hour. I should try and write something in that hour, even
Exactly.
if it's not a lot. Something is better than nothing.
Hmm.
Um, this is a connected question. Where do you write, and why do you write there?
I write in a couple of different places. So I we talk about cozy writing, not a cozy writer, but I
Right.
have to be cozy, right? So even at work, I write in my office at work a lot because it's relatively quiet-ish. I'm right next to these study rooms though, where the students go and they kind of get a little rowdy, but it reminds me of home, and so it's very comforting. But I keep a pair of cozy slippers and a couple of blankets in my office at work so that when I'm not on duty, I'm not meeting with students, I'm not grading, or I can sit there and write. Now, if I'm at home, I'm also usually cuddled up in a blanket, laptop on my lap. Yes, exactly. It's almost like I need that shield to kind of write from. And so most of the time, I'm writing either in my home office or in my work office. Every now and again, I'm writing in my bed, but I try not to do that as much nowadays because I'm not as productive.
Yeah, I couldn't. There's people I know that there are professional authors who write on the couch, who write in bed, and I'm like, I don't know how I couldn't do it. I just like want to go to sleep. I would just be like, it's nap time for bed.
Yeah, I get too
Uh,
distracted. I get distracted because when I'm in bed, that tells me you need to chill, you need to go look at social media, you need to go do this. No, if I'm in one of the offices though, I gotta work. That's what that says to me. Brain says, gotta work. You already sitting here, you may as well do something.
yeah, there is a sort of like mental switch of like
Yes,
it's time to work. It's time to write.
yes, and I
Uh,
need that.
Same. Uh, another connected question. What is a? I'm trying to phrase this correctly. A cursed or sacred object that you keep near you while you write that helps your writing.
Huh.
If anything, you can't say nothing. That's obviously an applicable answer.
Yeah, I don't know the blanket, I guess.
Okay,
Like I
that can be
literally have a blanket everywhere. So I
right.
guess that's
It
it.
can be it can be a blanket. That's perfectly. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
I don't know. Like sometimes people have totems. Like they have things that are
sure,
like
sure.
that thing they stare at or a thing that's nearby. That is, I don't know. I have a copy of the Long Walk that I look at up there, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
that a rare copy, and I look at it and I go, one day, Stephen King,
Yes,
One
yes.
day.
One day.
One day, that's not true. We're never going to get another one. I'm not,
Yeah.
there's no matter how successful I ultimately get, I'm not going to be Stephen King. No one is.
Well,
It's
you're
an
gonna be
absurd
well, you're
thing.
gonna be you, right. You're gonna be
Exactly. That's
Robbie
also
Williams.
another thing. I'm going to be the first Robbie, not the next Stephen
Exactly.
King. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's also like, that's a different time. I don't think
Sure.
that's ever going to happen. It's fine. It's okay. You don't,
Right, right,
it's more like, the motivation, the magical
right.
thinking kind of thing. How much time we got? Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. How this is actually a really good question for the after reading your collection, where you have there's so many stories with so many different character names. How do you come up with character names, and do character names change throughout drafts?
So usually the character names, they just come out. Like I've heard somebody name this and I go, "Oh, this is your story." Or I've heard somebody with this other name and I go, "I liked it, but I don't think I like the way they spelled it, so I'm going to spell it this way." I have changed character names before. When I realized that I have a penchant for names that end in A, and I'm going back to look through the story and everybody's name ends in A. I'm like, okay,
Um,
somebody told me the wrong name. I gotta change your name. But yeah, every now and again I do have to I look at baby name lists. Because I think, well, if this person is this age, they would have been born in around this time, and these are the names that would have been popular, or these are the names that would not have been popular, and so that's why this person has to have that name. So yeah, baby naming lists are wonderful. I even like to look at lists of like ancient gods and goddesses from different cultures and stuff because I love the names and I'm thinking if this person is having to do with this type of good fortune, well, their name could be this.
right. Um, let's see. We'll do one more. Oh, this is a good question for you. What was your? Because I'm just curious. What was your gateway horror media?
Oh, books. There were books. There were this, I can't remember the name of the maker of these books. They were little tiny books, and they were about all kinds of things. We had Call of the Wild, we had Little Women, we had Robert Louis Stevenson, a couple of his books. One of them was Poe collection.
Okay.
And I remember wearing that thing out. Like, and we were little bitty kids, and mama was just glad we were reading, but that was my favorite. And my parents always had books laying around the house too. And so, well, not my mama, they put her books away. She read a lot of romance, so they had her books hidden away. But my dad read a lot of horror and sci-fi, so they never thought to put those away. So the books, Stephen King, Carrie, Edgar Allan Poe, those were my gateway. Quickly followed up by those anthology stories like The Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, all of those little vignette type, short story type things. I mean, it's no wonder that I'm a short story writer. I think that's a pretty good conclusion from that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are all great.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I had illustrated classics when I was a little kid, and like
yeah,
it was like you would read
yeah.
Robinson Crusoe, Count of Monte
And
Cristo,
I think we might be
yeah,
talking about the same ones. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, I
and it,
love those books. They were awesome.
yeah, the little abridged versions of
Yeah.
classic stories, and you're like, and then you get. But then you find like the gory ones, you find the more the pose, you find the ones that are a little bit more. You're like,
Mhm.
okay, this is where I want to be, and then
That's where I wanna be.
and then segue into horror paperbacks to Stephen King's
Exactly.
and your
Exactly.
and even Anne Rice's or whoever.
Yeah, or VC Andrews was a
Oh
thing when I
yes,
was
VC
looking, oh
Andrews.
my gosh,
Yes, yeah,
so
yes,
terrifying.
yeah. I mean, all the and like I don't know when I was Christopher Pike, like that
Yeah,
YA stuff
yeah,
of the mid. I'm not even sure when Christopher Pike started, but 90s s
yeah,
90s era, probably even maybe 80s too.
sure.
Yeah. That's it for the second act. We can move on to our final segment.
Okay.
It's time for blood.
It's time for blood.
Yeah, it's time for blood. I like being dramatic. It is. It's time for struggle. It's time for trouble, for hardship, for something that you have struggled with in you're going through now or in the recent past, recent memory.
Okay,
And it could be
sure.
literally anything related to writing. It could be a nuts and bolts mechanical problem. It could be philosophy, it could be ethos, it could be imposter syndrome, it could be trying to think of things people have brought up. Social media,
Yeah, yeah.
business, marketing, a lot of marketing and
Oh,
business and social media stuff lately. So,
oh my
um, but
goodness.
it's in an effort to help other people listening because they're probably going through the same thing.
Yes, well, one of my struggles, my biggest struggles is definitely this marketing stuff. I'm very, very lucky that with this book I have, and my first publisher for my first collection, they did amazing. They did a wonderful job. Like these are small, setups, right? So they only have so much time. So this time I'm actually working with a marketing director, and I am so grateful for her. I'm so grateful that they, as a whole, are very, very good at the social media thing. They're very good at making the graphics because I can't do these things, and so they make them. And I know people go, "Well, you could." No, I can't. I cannot, and so I don't have to because other people are really great at it.
Right.
So, but one of the struggles is knowing if I'm posting too much or not enough. I
Oh,
worry about, am I talking too much about this? Am I not talking enough about this? Most days I let the question come and just go. I leave it and go, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to do what we can do. And that's the end of it. That's all you can do. But the idea of having to be on all the time is exhausting. Especially, and there's like there's a bit of a generational thing here too, because I'm Gen X, and so I think that we as a generation have done a really good job trying to keep up with all these technological changes. But there's some things that I just cannot, like I just cannot, like the whole TikTok. I'm just gonna make a video just because I want to. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. If I make a video, it's because I really needed to do that thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hellish. I can't. It's hard to say. Like I like it when it lets me stay in touch with my friends, my writing
Sure.
friends. Like
Yes, yes,
that's the best. That's the great thing about it because you get to you see what they're up to, and you can message
yes.
them, and you go back and forth, and like it. That's great. But it's I feel like you mentioned pressure. It's like that the weight of like, oh, I need to sell my book. I have
Right,
to, and like, what's enough? What will work? What will not work?
right. Yes.
And I don't know what time of day should I post because I think about that a lot.
Oh my gosh, right, I can't even get past that, but I think you've actually touched on something that's is exactly how I feel. When social media was social, I loved it. Like, I just love that. I love hearing about friends' kids, their gardens and what they're writing and what they're working on and where they're going, but the moment that it turned into something that I had to do, I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't know
Yeah,
anymore."
yeah. I mean, I think my philosophy, and I don't know if you have you were both at Stoker. I don't know if you've met Wendy Dalrymple.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I
sure you.
know Wendy. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you. I was going to say we all kind of know each other, but I'm never
Right,
sure.
right.
Um, Wendy has like because we do events together in Florida a lot. I talk to her a bunch, and she's just kind of like I just post things I like when I want to. I don't think about it,
I
and I
like
don't
it.
know. Yeah, and I'm like that's. I've tried to really embody that, where like don't hold pressure about am I posting enough or not too much. Post as much as you want. That's
Sure.
good. I'm
Yeah,
like, and
I
it,
like
I
it.
don't know. And like, if it's not at all or just a little, then just do a little. That's perfectly fine. If you have a lot of good ideas, if I have a fun idea for like a little thing, I'll make it. If I don't, I'll be like, oh, I'll just post a picture of a book I read that I read. Oh, this book's really good. People should go buy that book. Things like
Mhm.
that. I don't know. It's a thing that keeps every time this gets brought up. Everyone's just like, actually, the thing that I've found that I've enjoyed the most is connecting with other authors and
Mhm.
with readers and with my readers
Yes.
and whatever that is for you, whatever
Uh-huh.
that kind of post, I think that's probably going to be the best thing because it will actually
Yeah.
probably in the long run sell books.
Oh, I think so, and I think it's gonna have to. It's the only thing that comes authentically because all the rest of that stuff is, yeah, it's me having to do that, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know that you're any authors here. I'm gonna brand I don't like using that word sometimes, but it is
Yeah.
we have our brand. We're like what we look like and what
Mhm.
we write and the things, how we, everything about us. And that is what, and readers sometimes they will attach first to a book, but then they will
Mhm.
then attach themselves to our quote unquote brand. But
Yeah.
if you're faking it all, it won't go.
Yeah.
You can't fake it. It
It
has to be
sounds
you.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds sad.
It's- I wasn't. That's the thing I usually think, but I don't say out loud.
Right,
But I'm glad
right.
that you said it because now I can disagree with you and say yes, I agree. It is
Yeah,
a little sad
it's
when you
so
see.
sad.
I don't know. You see other authors on social media. You're like, and you're just making like a viral thing to try and be viral and not actually. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like
Yeah,
them. Yeah, and that's no well. I don't know. I would also say that if I don't think there is a such thing as posting too much. I don't know if like that. I'm.
maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll think
Maybe
about
it's
it.
well,
I'll
I
think
don't think
more
it's.
about
I mean, I also think about it. I think it's. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm an author and I understand how hard it is to sell a book.
it. Mm.
That I give as much grace whenever I have a friend who has a book coming out and I see them post and post and post and post and post. I'm like, well, they're trying to sell their book. I get
Oh,
it.
sure. Well, it's
It
never too much for anybody else. It's
right
only too much if
for
I
you.
do it,
Right.
right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You have been. Well, I'll bring out one more time. Maybe. Well, I'll say I'm going to probably bring it up two more times because we're going to do an outro, and I'll probably bring it up again. But if I ever want a Stoker, if that ever happens,
Yes,
I
it
I,
can
w- I would not shut the hell up. I would never shut up about it. I will be very obnoxious.
I've actually been building my little post that I'm gonna write because I've been just sharing like the one from my agency and the one
Right.
from the publisher. But I am working on my very own response because I'm like, I still gotta get my words together. They're
Yeah.
still kind of cloudy right now, you
I
know?
mean, it was less than a week ago. But
It
when
was
we're
less than a
recording,
week
less
ago,
than a
so
week ago.
I'm
Just
still working on
give
it.
give our listeners context. It was literally like 6 days ago when
Yes,
they
6
announced
days
it
ago.
at the awards. So it is still very like that.
Feels
It is.
so, so new.
I mean, it is, but it is. I would also never. I would be a clown. I would be. I don't know. Like it's
I'm looking
well.
forward to it, Robbie. I'm looking
Oh,
forward to it. I'm
I
looking forward
mean,
to it. We're gonna
that's
manifest it.
that's a long ways away. If and when it happens. But it is. I think there's another part of it where I are. I've seen a lot of things lately about it, maybe, and we talked about on this podcast with other authors, where victories for us are few and far between.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, you get
Yes.
millions. You get so many rejections, and sometimes those are external rejections, and then sometimes those are internal doubt. How those things manifesting, like, can I really
Yes.
do this,
Oh,
etc.
absolutely.
And I don't know if something great happens where you get a big award, you can post about it as much as you want. You're allowed. Like, and it's
I
like I don't
like
know.
it. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, exactly. But it's also like I don't know. You're also all books are very special, and
Yeah.
especially because it's your book and you can you can post about my monsters ain't like yours a million times. I'd be like, well, she should. RJ should. This book is special because she's special because she's made a special thing. There's no. It's not. I don't know.
Our books are
The
great.
attention,
Yeah.
and it's like because the way social media is,
Mm. Yeah.
you most people won't see all that stuff.
Well,
Like,
and that's the crazy part, right? Is that I'm thinking it's too much, but then really it's not gonna pop up in most people's feeds even, right? And so
yeah.
that's a weird thing about it, how these things
I,
work.
it really does that. See, that's the thing that infuriates me more than anything. It's when I'm like, I spend a lot of time on something, and then it's shown to 200 people out of I have 3,000 followers, and 200 of them see it. I'm like, what?
Right, what is even happening?
Why? I don't. I understand that not everyone is online all the time like me. They're
Right.
not chronically. They have some brain disorder where I have to be on the internet all the time. But more than 200 people should be seeing this video I spent 2 hours editing.
Right.
Please, that's fine. It's. I mean, like it's. I and every time we do this, I always go, it's very funny that we're not you're not complaining about writing,
Right, no.
you know, because we
Writing
love
is
writing. Writing's great.
yes.
Yeah. But we're talking but it's the part of what is expected of us.
Yes. Yes.
Expectation.
The expectations.
Right. Do you get I don't know. I don't know. Is there ever discussion about that about with publishers and with your agent with things and editors like oh how much social media presence can you give and things like that? I'm always curious about that.
I have never
Okay.
been yeah, I've never been, asked or anything about
Okay.
that, yeah, well, and when we
Good.
talk about yeah,
Good.
when we talk about these things, I say to them, like, up front, "If you do the thing, if you make the thing, I will gladly forward the thing and post the
Right.
thing." It's
Right.
just the making of the thing, so, yeah, no, I've been very, very fortunate that we don't have those kind of conversations.
I see
I'm
that
very
stuff float around sometimes where people
yeah, yeah, some
expect
people
it
say that, yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like
I haven't experienced it, and I'm so glad.
okay. I was going to say I don't know that it is it's I don't, there's only so much you
Right,
can do.
right, there's only so much you can and so much control that we have over it, so,
Yeah.
you know.
You have to I think that's hey, there's the lesson today. Let it go. It's
Yeah,
okay.
go.
You just do as much as you can, but
It's
don't worry. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. Before we go, I've been doing this lately. RJ, I want you to manifest something. You just won a Stoker, so it's hard to top that. But man, I would like you to manifest something else for your career, something for the near to intermediate future. Speak it aloud, and we will make
okay.
it happen. We will make it happen.
Oh my gosh, I want to see something that I wrote make it to the screen.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think some of these stories would make such brilliant movies. I mean, of course, I'm totally biased in that thinking, but
I agree.
I
I
do think that
agree.
some of my stories are very cinematic, and they are full of imagery. So, that's what I wanna manifest is something on the screen.
Okay, I'm. Re- it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna
We
happen.
just we got it. We're good. It's gonna go next year.
Yep,
We're gonna get it. We're gonna you're gonna have get to share one of those like posts. Where you're like
yes,
option. Yeah, exactly. And everyone's gonna
absolutely.
go ah and scream. Be happy.
Yes, I love it.
Okay. Before we go, could you tell people where you would like people to purchase My Monsters Ain't Like Yours and where they can find you on the internet?
Yeah, so if you purchase My Monsters Ain't Like Yours, especially in this pre-order time, directly from the publisher, Quill and Crow Press, you get some extra swag stuff. So I'm all about the swag. I think we should want the swag, and they are really good at swag stuff.
Yeah.
So when I say you want these extra little nibbles, you do want to order straight from them because they are brilliant at that kind of thing.
Support small presses.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, and they are a really good one too.
Yeah. Where would you prefer people to follow you on the internet? We just complained about social media for 10 minutes, but where
Yeah.
would you like people to follow you?
Well, I am mostly on Threads and Instagram these days, but I am on all the platforms at R Jackson Joseph, except for TikTok. That one was one off one. That one I'm on as R Jackson Garcia. Like I forgot about the branding for a moment, and it's a whole thing.
It's a thing. It happens.
Yes, but
You
I'm on Threads and Instagram more often these days.
okay? I'll have links to all that stuff in the show notes too, so people can follow you. I mean, if they're not already following you, I don't. If anyone listening to this show probably already follows you. If they're not, get
Probably.
on it, man. Get on it.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're
hey,
all
y'all,
friends here.
get on it. Um, this is my last mention. Thank you again, Stoker Award winning RJ Joseph for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Robbie, so much for having me. It's really, really something that this is the first interview right after this. So I'm really, really glad that we talked and got this into play.
Yeah.
You're fun. Thank you.